Ste pripravení stretnúť sa osobne z očí v oči s jednou z najdôležitejších kľúčových hráčov momentálne, ktorá pracuje vo Facebooku, pochádza z Buenos Aires, ale teraz pôsobí v Dubline. Má na starosti malých stredných klientov, má na starosti marketingové agentúry a toto všetko v rámci strednej, východnej Európy, Španielska, Portugalska, non-stop vlastne pendluje medzi týmito krajinami, non-stop cestuje po celom svete. Naozaj myslím si, že je to veľká hráčka, takisto si myslím, že je dosť výnimočné, až by som povedala, že ojedinelé, že na takejto vysokej pozícii v takejto firme je žena, a dokonca takáto krásna žena. A ja som veľmi rada, že sa jej podarilo narvať tento deň do svojho busy kalendára a že prišla a porozpráva vám niečo zo zákulisia svojho života, svojej práce a zákulisia Facebooku. Ladies and gentlemen, vamos en español. Ahora, damas y caballeros, de Buenos Aires, de Argentina, bienvenidos a Mariana Piccinini. Hola. I think, but you're so pretty that we can just look at you.
Oh,
it's going to be
so
totally
sweet,
fun.
And your Spanish is so good.
Is it really?
Yes, very good. And you pronounce my surname very well.
I try my best.
My surname is Italian, so...
Why is it Italian and you're from Argentina?
Well, that's Argentina history. I mean, we have a lot of roots coming from Italy, from Spain, so that's why. Italian surname, but I was born in Venezuela, raised in Argentina, and now, since 1 year ago, I'm living in Dublin, so yes.
That's
but
amazing.
Thank you so much for the introduction. I could understand a little bit what you were talking about.
I was saying that it's really unique that on such a high position in such a prestigious and, famous
so
company,
much.
there is a lady, gorgeous lady like yourself.
Thank you.
So we are all really proud of you on behalf of all the ladies.
Thank you. I will tell this to my mom and dad. They were just sending me a message like, good luck, and then, so I would say
really,
this.
so your parents keep track of you because you travel all the time, right?
Yes, they are all the time following me, asking me. Like, they know more about Facebook than I do, I think. That they love the company.
So your parents are on Facebook?
Yeah, no. Yeah, of course.
Just to make sure.
Yes, they must.
They must be on Facebook, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to talk about Facebook. We are going to talk about the need for speed. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this special, super exclusive guest, Mariana Piccinini.
Thank you so much for that introduction again. I mean, I feel so honored. So first of all, an apology because I don't speak not even one word in Slovak, so my presentation is going to be in English. However, I felt home yesterday, I need to say, after party. I don't know how many of you were there, but that was reggaeton all the time playing, Latin music, so I felt like very, very, very welcome. And even though, despite that huge introduction, I'm so grateful to be part of here and having been invited. This is my first time ever in life in Slovakia, so I just feel lucky to be here. And my mission of today, of course, nothing to do with the after party, is to talk about the need for speed and what this is about. Basically, we're going to talk about how challenging now for you as marketeers is to connect with your consumers, because capturing their attention in today's mobiles world is even more challenging. So one of the things that we're going to talk about on how you can capture their attention has to do with the power of the storytelling, and this is something that I think that Pavel briefly covered in his presentation. But it's not only about storytelling. It's about building community with your customers. Yes, community. It's an abstract concept, but what we're trying to say to you is that you need to get personal connection with your customers if you want to grab their attention in today's world. So before going into the details, it is important to have the context. And context sometimes is very helpful when we think about history, right? So let's think about the history of humanity. And this history could be told, right, through the need for speed. If you think about cars, trains, planes, everything in today's world has gotten faster and faster. And think about not only cars and planes, think about our ideas, think about information. This has completely changed the way we communicate between each other, the way we work. So all this context, right, has helped us to understand better how our brain works, right? how fast our brain can work, actually. And one of the things that is important to highlight today is that we used to believe that our brain needed 300 milliseconds to process a thought. However, in recent studies, what they have discovered is that what we actually need is 30 milliseconds, 10 times less. This is the time that we need to process one thought. It's nothing. Now let's try to think about another example when you are reading books. When we are reading, we can read up to 300 words per minute. But our brain can handle up to 500 words per minute. We can read up to 500 words per minute. So we're going to do some kind of a test just right now to see how awake you are, because I understand it's the afternoon, it's the second day. So we're going to try to do it together. So now, the idea, of course, is going to be in English, so it's trickier. But let's see how many words can you read just right now to see how fast your brain is. I'm not going to do the exercise, of course, because I did it like 100 times when I was rehearsing. But the idea is for you to start feeling this, how fast our brains are working. It is massive. It is impressive when you start reflecting on that. So you might be wondering, okay, Mariana, why is that you're bringing this topic today? And the thing is that this is related to brands, 100%, and of course, marketeers. Why? Because this acceleration trend that we are talking about didn't skip consumers. So even though nowadays we have more media options to reach your audiences, what is true is that it is very challenging to catch their attention. So you need to know how to do it. One of the key that we're going to share with you today is the differences on how we consume content when we see it in Newsfeed desktop versus Newsfeed mobile. And this is very interesting because the same person taking a look into the same piece of content would take different timing when reading content in desktop versus mobile. So the conclusions that we gather after doing many studies is that people on Newsfeed mobile, they are consuming content on a faster pace. And here you have the exact numbers. So it takes an average of 1.7 seconds to read content in Newsfeed mobile versus 2.5 seconds to read content in desktop. The same content, the same person, different behaviors when it's happening in mobile versus desktop. And why it is important for you to understand this context? Because, of course, you are present into the mobile world. The moment that you have a Facebook page, you are already present in the mobile world because it depends on the market. But an average of 80% of our users, some cases 90% of our users, are accessing to Facebook through mobile. And we're spending a lot of time in mobile devices, 3 hours per day, average. And we are checking out our phones 80 times per day. So that is why it is important for you to understand that we consume content differently mobile versus desktop because your consumers are spending the majority of their time in mobile devices. So you cannot, not disregard this difference. But you might be wondering again, okay, this is too fast, 1.7 seconds. I don't think that consumers will remember my ad, will remember my content. So we asked the same questions, but we, again, ran studies to understand. And what we found out is actually these users need 0.25 seconds to start remembering content in mobile. This is equivalent of a blink of an eye. Literally, just blinking an eye, you're already starting to remember content in Facebook Newsfeed mobile. So again, that's why it's so important for you to start thinking about how you create content for mobile. And this is another data that is very interesting, right? Because we need to start thinking about video, and Pavel as well mentioned about that, and see the differences behaviors between how we watch video in TV versus mobile devices versus desktop. These numbers are coming from a Mill-Brown study. And what they actually saw is that really watching videos on mobile devices nowadays is almost as popular as watching videos in live TV. You see the numbers over here. 66 minutes when it comes to live TV, average, versus 75 minutes on mobile, only 1 minute of difference. But as well, you can see how much difference there are, right, between desktop and mobile. 37 minutes we're consuming videos in desktop versus mobile. So again, video is becoming very, very big, as popular as TV. And that is why we're going to try to answer this question all together today. How is that you as businesses can keep up with this need for speed? How is that you can keep up in this mobile world first, right? And how is it that you can move faster? Because this is what it is. We must move faster if we want to grab the attention of our consumers. So we're going to talk about 3 pillars to try to answer this question. First of all, you need to get personal faster. Second, you need to get their attention quickly. And third, you need to embrace the change. Let's start with the first one. Get personal faster. And I know that, again, this could sound a little bit abstract. So we're going to try to answer that. I think that this video that you're seeing at my back is super representative on how is that we experiment, right, content consumption through mobile devices. We're saying that connections in mobile happen in an instant. What type of connection and why? The reason is what you're seeing just at my back is because we have these mobile devices holding in our hands, and these mobile devices are super close to us, physically close to us. So of course we have more chances to pay attention to what we're seeing on the phone screen, right? So that is why we can definitely say that our brains are wired to receive better information that is coming from mobile devices rather other media. Because there is a small physical distance, but that small physical distance really generates a huge psychological difference. We are more receptive to mobile content rather than other media. That is true. But when we think about connections, right, then maybe the first words that could pop up in your head are friends and families. You talk about getting personal connection. That's so not going to happen with businesses. So we're here to say today that that's not the case in our platforms, right? Because connections are not limited only to Facebook, friends, or families. Connections are also happening between people and the businesses that they care about. So when we are trying to analyze which are the top 5 type of content in our platforms, meaning those type of contents that people tend to engage more, within those top 5 we have what you can see in front of you. Family, of course, friends, humor, celebrities, but as well, which is the 5th one? Businesses, businesses, and businesses. People are connecting with businesses in our platforms. And you can see these figures to really make the point. In Facebook, we have more than 1 billion users that at least visit a Facebook page from a business once a month. 1 billion. It's half of our population, more or less, right now. We have 2.2 billion globally. And then when it comes to Instagram, 80% of Instagrammers globally, they follow at least one brand. This percentage is massive, huge, 80%. So that is why connections are not only limited to friends and family. And connections are not only limited to local scale. On the contrary, connections are happening with businesses all around the globe. And this has to do with how important is exporting, cross-border businesses. And we are seeing that already happening in Facebook. What is this number? So this number is the percentage of Facebook users in Europe that follow one Facebook page at least from a foreign country. 70% of our users in Europe are following at least one business from a foreign country. This means that connections between you and your users are not only with users in Slovakia, not at all. Connections are happening globally because this is another consequence of today's world, that our consumers are not local anymore. They are global. So you need to think about exporting and do it through our platform. So we talk about connections, right? And how, of course, this intimacy that, right, when we're holding the mobile devices help us, right, to be more receptive with the content. That is true. But at the same time, it's true that the expectations of consumers when they receive content in mobile devices are higher. What does it mean, this exactly? That they are expecting to receive personal content. And maybe that is not what they're expecting from other media, such as TV. So yes, more connection, more intimacy, but more expectations. 80% of teenagers and millennials have expressed that they want to receive ads that are tailored to them. And that doesn't mean only about location, meaning if I'm in Buenos Aires, I want to see businesses from Buenos Aires. When they talk about tailored, they are meaning about deep stuff. They're talking about habits, interest, even the way they self-identify themselves. That is what they want to see in their news feeds. So you could ask, okay, so how we can just create tailored content? That's the good question to ask. So we're going to see that later on. But why is that we're here to tell you how important it is for you to create tailored content? It's very simple. It's just because relevance and relevant content builds rapport. And that is what we're here to talk about, right? Connection, personal connection with your consumers so you can build community. And content and relevant content is the way for you to make it happen. Why? So this is a very simple example, right? So this is a boomerang, very short video, very simple, right? From an Instagram account, from a business. But this is a clearly content tailored, this cooking enthusiastic. It's very simple. I can understand it super right away, what the product is about. And I can feel personal connected. Because of course, if the content is talking to me, I feel it personally. And the impact and the magic of this is at the end is that you would receive this content as if it was a recommendation done by a friend. And again, boom, that is when the magic happens. So getting personal faster, we already covered how important it is to create tailored content to make that happen, right? But the second thing that you need to bear in mind is always you need to understand what are the shifts that are happening across your consumers. Because as we have this need for speed, changes are happening all the time. And one of the things that we are seeing as another trend has to do with direct messaging. So if you want to have personal contact with them, you must be present in Messenger. You must have direct messaging with them because this is what they're expecting. So of course, again, numbers. Currently we have 1.3 billion users monthly actively in Facebook Messenger. This is, again, huge. And that's why we run surveys and we partner with Nielsen to understand what is the behaviors of these users and what is their expectation when it comes to businesses. And these are some of the results. 56% of the people that replied this survey said that they would rather contact businesses by direct messenger rather than by phone call when it comes to customer services. And this trend is going to be even higher and higher. People prefer direct messaging rather than phone call. Second data point coming from this survey, right? 61% of the people said that they would love to receive personal messages coming from businesses. Tailored messages, again. And the third outcome of this survey is that 77% of the people that replied the survey say that within the next 2 years, for sure they feel that they would increase the number of messages that they would exchange with businesses. So again, the trend is up and to the right. More direct messaging with you as businesses and your consumers. And, of course, how is this tied to sales? Because that's the key question. So as part of this survey, again, we asked that. And it turns out to be that 53% of the people said that they feel that they're more likely to buy products or services from businesses that have direct messaging option. So 1 out of 2 people already expressed that if just by the fact that you have direct messaging, it is increasing the likelihood for them to buy products and services from you. So again, when you're thinking about getting personal faster, we talk about content and we talk about direct messaging. Let's now go over the second pillar, getting attention quickly. And the key word here, it's video. And I know that Pavel already mentioned this, but as we say, repetition doesn't spoil the prayer, rich in frequency, so you make sure that you understand what are the key messages that we are here today to tell you. So, another numbers. So by 2020, and Pavel mentioned this, between 75 and 78% of the entire mobile data traffic will be video. But we don't have to go to 2020 to see the trend. In Facebook currently, we have more than 100 million hours of watched video per day. Again, 100 million hours per day. And this is just now, not 2020. So that's why we can definitely say that video is massive, and the shift to video already happened. So again, you don't only need to be mobile, you don't only need to understand that you need to grab their attention quickly because we consume content on a faster pace, but the way to do it is through video, and we're going to explain more why. So, as always, we want to understand, so we run studies, so we can be here today sharing this information with you. So, because the question, and the right question to ask is how effective videos are when you want to drive your businesses. Because yes, for sure, 100 million hours per day is a massive number, but I mean, if this is not driving businesses, that is not relevant to you, and that's fine. That's why we ran this study. And the conclusion from this study is that actually video is the greatest grabbing attention machine. So nowadays, remember the context, grabbing people's attention is super hard. Super hard because our window attention is very limited. So if you find a tool that really helps you to make that happen, it is priceless. And that tool is called video. And we did then a comparison between campaigns that were using videos versus static images to really understand if videos were adding value, were effective. And it turned out that the engagement, meaning the time users were spending watching the video versus static images, was longer, 5 times longer. So this type of content, video content, is more relevant. And remember that relevant content is key. But we went further. It's not only the comparison between video and static images. As well, we need to understand how video works in different channels. Is it the same to watch a video on a TV rather than a mobile? So the answer is no. Why not? And again, this has to do with this intimacy that we were talking about, right? As we have these phones super close to us, the likelihood of attention is higher than TV. Exactly 82% higher. More attention when you're watching video on your phone versus TV. That is a fact. And then, of course, the other way around. The likelihood of being distracted when you're watching a video in a mobile is lower. Exactly 79% lower. So look how powerful it is just creating video in mobile devices. And that is beyond Facebook and Instagram. But we went further again. Okay, brilliant. More attention, less distraction, but what I care about are business KPIs. That's the language that I care. That's why we did another study. So Nielsen partnered with us, and they conducted a global study where they analyzed 173 brand lists that were running in our platform to understand what is the value of video when it comes to brand metrics. Of course, which are the primarily brand metrics? Ad recall, brand awareness, right? And purchase intent. Through this study, the conclusion was impressive. And these are the numbers that you have in front of you. 38% of ad recall, 23% of brand awareness, and 35% of purchase intent were generated within the first 2 seconds of the video. 2 seconds, you heard well. Only 2 seconds just to generate 38% of ad recall. Only 2 seconds to generate 23% of brand awareness. Only 2 seconds to generate 35 purchase intent. Well, short time, right? Yes, it is. And again, the purpose of this message is not to tell you that you shouldn't do long videos. No, let's not try to think it black and white. What we are trying to say is that first seconds in a video are vital, and that the first seconds in a video are already moving brand metrics. So the question is how to create video, right? How to produce video in a way that they're effective, in a way that you make sure that in the first seconds you would drive business metrics. So these are 4 recommendations. Of course, we can give a different presentation about creativity, but we need to summarize. So 4 recommendations. First, capture the attention within the first 15 seconds. Yes, it's hard, but you need to try it. And what does it mean? And again, this is the logic, right, of videos displayed in mobile versus video displayed in TV. When you think about a TV spot, generally, the main message happens at the end. It's the perfect closing. Well, in mobile, it should be the other way around. You need to start the video with the main messages, and that's why you're gonna create this attention within the first 50 seconds. So again, the main message, always up front, never at the end. And then, in order to execute this and grab their attention, 1, you need to have fast motion, right? Because again, this has to do with the need for speed. Fast, fast, fast. Second, really quick cuts, because you need to maintain their attention. And the third thing is always bringing your brand up front. What does it mean? It means that in the first seconds, you need to make sure that the users would understand and would link your video with your brand. Whereas it is putting your logo from the very beginning, just really showcasing your package, using any symbol that is very linked to your brand. Whatever you need to bring it in the first seconds so people will instantaneously connect that video with your brand. So that is the first recommendation, capturing people's attention within the first 15 seconds. The second one, and it's Facebook only, and later I will explain why. You need to design with sound off. Why? Because most of the videos in Facebook are consumed with sound off. So this means that you need to create videos that the message is clear without using sound. If you need sound to explain what the message is, that's not gonna work. So you need to rely on visual communication. You can add caption, of course, words, graphs, but no sound, right? Then, of course, when the sound is on and activated from the user, it's gonna delight, so it's gonna be an add-in resources. But you shouldn't rely only on sound to explain what the message is about. Third recommendation, frame. Frame is really thinking of how users watch video. And you do this on regular basis, right? So frame means that, of course, you're gonna watch the video super close to your face, small inches, right? Because that's the way we do it. And then vertical. So we're here to say that you need to produce vertical videos versus landscape. And then the fourth, play. Okay, what is play about? It's a matter of testing, even though we're here to tell you some recommendations. Again, as content needs to be personalized, that is going to depend on your audiences. How videos are going to be more engaged or not, you need to be the one finding that out. So test, experiment. I mean, that's the way for you to learn and iterate, and then just getting better on producing those videos for your consumers. So, again, repetition doesn't spoil the prayer. The summary would be, think shorter, think vertical. Why? Because we did comparisons to understand performance with same campaigns, meaning same content, targeting to the same audience, but the only difference was horizontal videos versus vertical videos. And the outcome was that vertical videos are more effective. Why? 7 out of 10 campaigns were having more ad recall points when they were using vertical videos. So you must use vertical videos. And that, of course, that's forced me to talk about stories. So stories right now, we have 300 million daily active users, and this number is increasing hugely. So if you are not there yet, the other message that I need to tell you today, my responsibility is you must be present in stories. Why? Because people are there, and you as marketeers need to target people. That's the way it is. And we are seeing just right now, on average, 50% of businesses that have Instagram accounts, they are already present, and at least they have created one story ad. So 50% still, we have a lot of room to grow. So that's why you have a huge opportunity to, again, be present on stories. So imagine how important it is to create effective videos. That as well we created this creative hub. This is the name it is. So you can go there, facebook.com/creative hub, because we understood that you needed more help from us to really create more videos. In this hub, you will find examples so you can be inspired. You would have tools to do mock-ups, right? And test how your videos and images, in case you want to use images, but I hope no, because after this training, you will be able to see how they would look like. And as well, there is another tool for you to really do the project management when it comes to creative. So that is another recommendation to leverage this creative hub. So we covered get personal faster, get their attention quickly. Now we're going to talk about embracing the change, right? And what embracing the change can mean for you. So basically it means that as we have this need for speed, people, users, us, you and me, businesses, we are evolving constantly. So it's not a matter, again, of black and white. It's a matter of really try to keep up to date and understand what their trends are. So I'm showing this, and of course you must be saying, okay, you have been talking about short videos, right? And now you're telling me that in 2016, 30% of our videos were longer than 20 minutes. Well, yes, and that's the beauty of what is happening just right now. It's not black and white. Of course, it is important for you to make sure that in the first seconds you will grab their attention. But there is another trend. Yes, there are long videos that users want to watch, right? And that's why we have now this premium video content that are happening, not only Facebook, but as well, of course, Netflix and other companies. So this is happening. And that's why we have a placement for you to showcase videos in longer ones, as in-stream videos that Pavel as well mentioned when he was talking about placement optimization. So yes, you need to keep up. That's why embracing the change, it is important, because sometimes you're going to be feeling frustrated. It's like, I don't know what to do. Is it short? Is it long? Well, you need to understand your consumers. And another example of how this is changing is the sound off versus sound on. We were saying that in Facebook, majority of videos are consumed in sound off. However, in stories, what we're seeing is completely different. We're seeing that at least 60% of videos ads in stories are consumed with sound on. So again, this is another strong example of why it is important for you to embrace the change, because these are going to keep happening and happening. And that is why we are evolving constantly. And that's the big question. Oh my God, it's impossible. And we have this conversation with agencies, with clients. It's like, it's very hard to keep up to date with you. Well, the reason is because users are evolving. So if they're going to be evolving, Facebook is going to be evolving. That's the way it is. That's why we have now so many options when it comes to video, because we understood that, right? We have Facebook Live, we have Facebook 360, we have regular videos, we have slideshows, now we have videos in the stories. Yes, videos, many options. But because we must embrace the change, we must move faster, because that's the way we can really keep engaging our users. So it's the same philosophy that you need to embrace. So just to recap then, in order for you to keep up, we talk about how important it is for you to get personal faster. Get personal faster is through tailored content and then think about direct messaging. When thinking about getting attention quickly, the keyword here is video. Video is the way for you to grab attention in mobile devices. And then when it comes to embrace the change, is plan accordingly, try to be updated, see again what are the trends that are happening in our platform, and that's the reason why we keep evolving. But that's the way you're gonna be present with your audience in this mobile-first challenging world, where yes, we have many options to target your audiences, but it's challenging to grab their attention. So I hope this has been helpful, and thank you so, so much.
Mariana, muchas gracias.
Well, español entonces
Thank
ahora.
you. Ahora
That's it.
otra vez en español.
Okay, well,
Toda
for me it's
presentación.
better. It's my mother language. I mean, not English, so I have no
Som
problem.
povedala, že teraz dáme celú prezentáciu ešte po španielsky. Ešte raz pre
And
veľký
that's
úspech.
the
No, no.
moment that I don't understand anything, so I start smiling. That's the
That's my key to success as well.
I don't understand, so I smile.
That's why I'm hosting this conference, because I can smile a lot. Okay, let's proceed to the
Oh, it's in
questions.
English.
Sí, tenemos preguntas.
Oh, it's so many languages.
Do you have some education program for growth hacking by Facebook for big brands?
Okay, so, and I think that I should just bring the big elephant in the room. I know that you were asking a lot of questions about Facebook support, Pavel, so I'm going to bring the face as I am the manager of Pavel's team. So how is that we're split it so you have a little bit of context? We are part of a sales team, and within the sales team we have teams that are dedicated to these big brands, as this question is asking, and then we have another teams that are focusing in the middle clients, and then another team that are focused in the long tail kind of clients. So whatever teams of these channel sales are doing, of course, different type of supports, and that is natural, right? So I don't know what exactly this training is about, or education program, but of course that most likely is happening coming from these teams, that they are dedicating more support, and most likely they would be giving a lot of trainings. They have more resources, and that is for sure. I would imagine that your question would be if you could participate on that. That would be my follow-up question. So the answer is that in some cases, yes, in some cases not, just because we have limited spaces. So of course we would love to invite everyone. So one of the things that we're trying to do for Make It Up for You, it's not perfect, but in case that you don't know this group, I really invite you to join Facebook for CEE group, again, Facebook for CEE group. This group is managed by my team. And we are all the time posting news. We're all the time as well, we are doing webinars, educating. We have an amazing webinar done by Pavel and Magda about World Cup. We had then another one talking about retargeting and DPA. So that's the way we're trying to start doing these kind of efforts to make sure that we can improve the support that we're giving to you. That's why we're here today. I know it's not enough, but I'm happy that 2 sessions were done by Facebook, and I hope this is getting better. So don't forget, Facebook for CEE, it's a very good tool for you to be trained, even though it's not the same program from Hural. How do I pronounce that name?
It's Juraj.
Juraj. So I hope I replied the answer.
So what is the difference between CE, Central Eastern Europe, and Spain, Portugal from the market perspective?
That's a very good question. So the difference is basically the countries itself, right? So when I'm managing 2 teams at the same time. So Spain and Portugal, we are working with agencies and clients that are physically based in Spain / Portugal. And then I manage another team that is called Central Eastern Europe. They are managing clients and agencies coming from all across 30 markets within Central Eastern Europe, from Poland to Czech Republic to Slovakia, Russia, Ukraine, Baltics, Balkans. That is within Central Eastern Europe region. So that's why maybe you understand how, little by little we're improving our support, but we are not there yet. I know that we have a lot of things to do. But that is the difference, where the clients are based.
Okay, how to start doing export on Facebook?
I love this question. This is the right question. Okay, so how to start doing it? You need to write it down as well. We have what it's called Cross-Border Insights Finder. And I know it's in English, then maybe we can just making sure that you would grab and have all these tools, but I'm gonna repeat it again. Cross-Border Insights Finder. Each of you have access to it. You can go there and you can start playing a little bit to understand first which are the markets that you need to start thinking to expand on, right? Because of course, it's gonna depend on the audience, it's gonna depend on prices, right? CPMs are different according to different markets. So you first go there to start answering these questions. Then, of course, once you did that and you know, okay, which is the market that I need to expand to, second, which is basically something that you need to leverage always, but audience insights. It is important for you to get to know what are the common trends from that particular audience in that particular market. And third, we have developed a lot of targeting solutions when it comes to export. So, of course, I'm going to say these products in English. In cross-border Insight Finder, most likely you would find them as well. But for instance, worldwide targeting. This is an option that you have in Facebook when you want to export, where what's going to be is basically if you have a product, let's say a mobile app, that you don't care, you don't have logistic kind of constraints, you use worldwide targeting and Facebook would optimize where is that your ad needs to be shown in terms of how effective, no matter what the market is going to be, right? Because in that case, you don't have any problem. So the sky is the limit for you. So worldwide targeting means you let Facebook optimize to really deliver your ad in the country that is going to be more efficient, meaning, of course, conversion. It's going to depend on the objectives that you set in the campaign. But worldwide targeting. Then as well, we have DLO, dynamic language optimization. What does it mean? It's the same when you're doing retargeting campaigns, but these two will help you to change the language of the copy in the creative automatically according to the website that you're going to redirect your users. So as well, that's another tool. Then we have multi-market, oh my God, these names in English, multi-country lookalikes audiences, which is basically very similar concept to lookalike audience, but it's really getting to get and target those users that are more likely to buy where in different countries. So these are some of the targeting options that we have developed for exporting kind of campaigns. And then don't forget about cross-border insights finder. So I hope I replied that question as well.
Thank you. And now, will it be possible to use video as automatic response on fan page?
I don't know if I understand this question well. Do you mean, well, it's anonymous, so we cannot just ask, but I don't know if that means in direct messaging kind of thing. If that is the case, it's not possible, but I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a very creative idea.
Yes, but I don't know if that was the question, so sorry about that if I didn't get it.
Is this the question? Do you want to specify
I don't want to expose the person. Direct messenger, through Messenger.
Direct.
Yes, so it's not possible yet, but again, I'm just looking at Pavel, maybe he has more information, but I don't think, we have something yet with video. No, that's what I was saying. I think, I was talking about video, it never occurred to me, and so it's...
So send your invoice to Facebook.
Fresh eyes, yes. Okay.
It's a super creative. Any more questions? Máte ešte nejaké otázky na Marianu?
And now in Spanish.
En español?
¿Más preguntas? No.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I know it's super late, that you're super tired, so thank you so much for everything. I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.
It was
Thank you
a
so
pleasure
much.
to meet you.